Welcome back to Tech with Adil MC, everyone. For those of you who are new, my channel is about tech, cars, and anything else I do for fun. Today's video is about how I fixed a common issue on my daily driver, the 2015 Lexus CT200H. I was having super rough startups in the morning which sounded like knocking. With only 100,000 kilometers on the dash, I knew a Toyota engine wouldn't give up so easy. So I went to the dealership for answers. They suggested I replace my intake manifold, EGR valve, EGR cooler, and EGR pipe, which would total to about 2500 CAD plus tax. As a result, I decided I'm going to remove the parts and clean them myself and see if that fixes my problem. During my research phase, I found out that just cleaning the intake manifold should suffice. So I wanted to fix one thing at a time to make sure I found out exactly what fixed the issue. So let's start with the disassembly of the intake manifold and EGR pipe. I end up cleaning the EGR pipe because it was super easy to do so. Okay, so first let's remove the intake assembly. Remove the air filter cover by opening the clips, disconnect the sensor, undo the clamps holding the hoses. Next, remove 4 bolts to loosen the entire intake system assembly. You can see it's loose now. Pull the right side of the intake assembly out and rest it on the top. Loosen the clamp holding the middle part of the intake assembly onto the throttle body and remove it. Pull the left side of the intake assembly out and rest it on top. The wire harness needs to be loosened to remove the intake manifold. Remove the bolt holding the right side and unclip the harness wire from its bracket. Remove the connections holding both the left and right side of the intake assembly and remove both pieces entirely. You can't really see inside the throttle body, but it's a bit dirty with carbon buildup and there seems to be a very small amount of oil in there. Next, I'll apply some rust penetrating oil to loosen the bolts on the intake manifold and then proceed to remove the bolts. Remove the 4 bolts holding the throttle body down. Remove the 4 fasteners holding the EGR pipe and remove the pipe. This is a tight fit, so you may need a wrench. The EGR pipe has significant buildup of carbon, but did not seem to be clogged. Based on research, as soon as the car is turned on, the carbon buildup will likely build up fast here anyways. So that's why they say not to worry about the EGR system. Because if your intake manifold is clean, then the amount of carbon buildup in your EGR system will also be reduced. Remove the intake manifold. I don't show the cleaning process since it depends person to person how they want this done. I use intake manifold cleaner, plus brake cleaner, plus all-purpose dish soap. I also using a cloth cleaned out the intake manifold ports and throttle body. The EGR pipe was cleaned out as well. I also replaced the PCV valve since I had everything opened up, so I would recommend to get that out of the way as well. I replaced the gasket for the intake manifold, and you can see inside of the intake manifold I removed all of the carbon buildup, specifically the small holes. Now time for assembly, which is the reverse of what I did before. I removed this sensor while cleaning, so just reinstall if you did that. Also remove this hose during cleaning, so just reinstall that if you did that as well. Reinstall the intake manifold. a few of the intake manifold's hose connecting to the PCV valve. Reinstall the throttle body and EGR pipe. Bolt down all three parts, and for the intake manifold, you can follow the pattern I used to tighten it back down if you'd like. It worked perfectly fine for me. Tighten the wire harness up by installing the bolt and clip back in. Reinstall the intake assembly and make sure to connect all the hoses properly and tighten the clamps. Reinstall all the bolts to tighten the assembly down again and connect the sensor. That's it, folks. After completing this, I drove another 30,000 kilometers and I've yet to experience the issue I had before. So it seems every 100,000 kilometers it's a good idea to remove the intake manifold and clean it properly. And might as well give a wipe down to the EGR pipe, throttle body, the intake ports the intake manifold connects to, and replace the PCV valve. In total, I did this over 2 days since I needed one night to let the parts dry off. If you have a second set of parts, this is definitely doable in one day. Overall, the car ran much more smoother after this, and the fuel economy got very slightly better as well. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I will be posting more content, so don't forget to like and subscribe.